Hi guys, I hope you're all well. So we're back with another Habiba Talks video, and this is gonna be on a topic that's really close to me and a topic that a lot of you guys have asked me to talk about. Anxiety is something that I've been going through a lot recently. Even though I've not completely conquered my anxiety, I feel like it would be good to start a conversation about it and start speaking about it with you guys and get a conversation going in the comments so we can all help each other. Maybe we can all just help each other get over this. I'm just going to talk about anxiety from my point of view. I feel like everybody goes through a different kind of anxiety and they go through it in a different way. I've been going through anxiety or something like anxiety for as long as I can remember, but I just thought it was just me. I just didn't realize that it was something that I should actually maybe get help for, you know? I just thought it was something that was part of who I am. I just thought it was part of my character, to be honest. I can remember when I was much younger, I would never want to be the person, for example, this is a really silly example, but true story, whenever we were at stores, me and my sister or my mum, and if I had to ask someone that worked there anything, I'd get my sister to do it. I just felt too scared to speak to any strangers. I felt scared to do a lot of things when it comes to people. Now, my anxiety is to do with being around people. I basically have social anxiety and I'm a serious introvert. I've only just started putting labels to my behavior and the way that I feel around certain situations. A lot of you watching this are probably like, what the hell, you're a YouTuber, you're popular, you have so many people that follow you, so many people that notice you in public, you go out and do events, you go out and do meet and greets, you go out and do so many things, you speak on stage. Yes, I do a lot of things, but most of the things that I do, it takes me like weeks to prep for, a long time to mentally and physically prepare myself to be on a stage or speak to people. I mean, only recently I've started to become a lot more used to people stopping me in public and speaking to them in public without seeming offish. I mean, when I say offish, I mean let me try and put you guys in my head. When somebody comes to speak to me, especially if it's someone that I don't know, I spend more time thinking about how I may come across responding to them than I think about what I'm about to say. My mind is buzzing and my hands are sweating and I feel sick and nauseous just trying to make sure I don't stutter, just trying to make sure I can control the way that I speak rather than thinking about what I'm going to say. And that happens all the time, and it's something that I struggle with. And on many occasions when I go out with my friends and we go out somewhere in public or we do something together, the next few days I lock myself up in my room. I don't want to speak to anyone, and it's really confusing because your brain doesn't say to you, oh, you're like this because you were with people yesterday. Your brain doesn't say to you, you're like this because you have anxiety. Your brain just shuts down. Like, you honestly don't know why you're behaving like this yourself, and it can be really difficult to diagnose yourself with whatever you have because you don't really understand it. And I never understood it for the longest time. This is one of the reasons why I keep myself to myself. This is one of the reasons why I keep a very small circle of friends. Just because, first of all, I find it difficult to speak to people I don't know, and I find it really difficult to hang out with people. That sounds really bad and really odd because of what I do, because what I do is to do with people, but my lifestyle day in, day out revolves around me either at home or in this studio, recording, editing, taking photos, and I don't really spend time with people that much on a day-to-day basis. I'm literally on my own, or I just see my family, or I see maybe one of my friends, and I'm comfortable that way, I'm happy that way, but I do feel like the anxiety has started to pick up a little bit recently, and it's something that I've been struggling with because sometimes I don't know how to control the way I feel. Sometimes I don't know how to control I'm trying to make this make as much sense as possible without crying. Sometimes you just feel horrible and upset and you don't know why. Sometimes, should I say, I feel horrible and upset and I don't know why, and it just takes me days to recover. It takes me forever to get out of this hole. Sometimes it feels like a well and you're in this bucket that's falling down the well, and the rope is loose and it's sliding down and you have no control to get out of the well. It can be really difficult, and sometimes it really affects the way that I do things to do with my work, and that's what hurts me the most, because that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want people to see that I have anxiety. I don't want people to think that I this is so difficult to talk about, guys. For example, this is one of the reasons why I avoid going to a lot of events. If I do go to an event, it's because my manager's forcing me, or it's because it's something that I really want to do. I avoid going to places where there's going to be too many people. I don't go into town on a Saturday. I avoid to speak at events because when I'm nervous I start stuttering and it's really embarrassing. I find it really embarrassing and I can't control it. Recently there's been 2 events, I won't say which events they are, but there are 2 events that I spoke at this year, and one of them went horrible. It went really bad. I think that is one of the reasons why my anxiety kind of picked up this year, because of that event, because I had so much to say, but when I got onto that stage everything kind of disappeared, and it was really hard for me. And another event I did recently where I spoke at the event, it went really well, and that made me feel better. My anxiety does pick up every now and then, and sometimes it's really unexpectedly. So as I said before, there'll be an evening or a day I spend with my friends, and we go out for dinner, we do things together, and then after that I don't want to speak to anyone, I don't want to talk to anyone, I don't want to be around anyone. I stay in my bed, I don't want to work, I don't want to look at my work, I don't want to go on social media. I remove all my notifications on my phone, including message notifications, including Instagram notifications, including everything. I just don't want anybody to talk to me, and I don't want to talk to anyone, and that can last for days. That can last for days, and it's not because something in particular happened, by the way. It's not because someone hurt me. It's not because I'm hurt from someone. It's not to do with anybody, to be honest. It's just to do with myself. Sometimes I feel just overwhelmed, and the only thing I can put it to is anxiety. And sometimes I just start crying out of nowhere, and it's nothing to do with my period, by the way. It's nothing to do with any of that. And it's not easy to have social anxiety, especially someone like me. A lot of people misinterpret my anxiety for other things. A lot of people who meet me in public, and they must have met me on a day where I just don't really want to talk to anyone, and obviously I can't just be like, excuse me, I don't want to talk to you, goodbye. I never do that. I've never done that. I never would do that, because it's not anybody's fault the way that I feel. So I make every effort to speak to anyone who comes up to me. I make every effort to be as normal as possible, because they deserve that. You're all my supporters and you guys mean so much to me. But sometimes it's hard to hide how I feel. A lot of people take that in a negative way. They take it as if I'm being rude or stuck up or any of those things that people may say. It's just my introverted anxiety. That's what it is. I'm too scared to go to a doctor because I just have a fear of someone saying to me, you have this and you need to The last time was really hard. My mum was really confused. She kept on coming into my room. She's like, what's going on? And I'm like, nothing. I can't speak to anyone. I just felt horrible. I felt really, really, really bad. I was really feeling very low. And honestly, nothing happened, by the way. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I had spent a day with my friends. I think it was my friend's birthday party. And we spent the day together, we spent the evening, and it was amazing. The evening was amazing. I had a lot of fun. But it's just like, I don't know what triggered it, but it was just a horrible few days. And I spent them in my room doing absolutely nothing, with my notifications off, not speaking to anyone. They're low days. Everybody needs them sometimes because you need something to pick up from. But that episode really made me think that maybe I should go and see someone, maybe I should get some kind of help for this. I think there's a huge stigma in the Muslim community, in the ethnic community. You know, things like this don't exist at all. And if I was to tell my mom, my parents, I've never really spoken about this to my parents. And I don't know if this video will ever go up because this is not something I talk about with. I think I've spoken about this with 2 of my friends and it was only recently. And I was saying to my friend, I think it's time I saw someone. I think maybe I need that. Maybe I need some extra help. Maybe I need to be around someone, to talk to someone about this. And maybe that will help me. Maybe talking to someone will help me. I honestly think talking to people helps. After I spoke to my friend, after the episode kind of was ending, spoke to my friend, or she kind of called me. I had to pick up because it was like a day or 2 where I wasn't speaking to anyone, and picked up, and obviously it was on my mind, so I spoke to her about it, and she was like, yeah, you should go and see someone. And ever since then I haven't had an episode like that. This was, I would say, about a month ago. I haven't had anything like that since. But it is something that affects me and my work, and that's why it bothers me. And the funny thing is, sometimes I can be so outgoing. Like, if I'm with a group of my friends and maybe there's 1 or 2 strangers, I can still be completely outgoing. And when I say strangers, I mean maybe friends of friends that I'd never really met or spoken to before. I can be super outgoing. It's not even about that. It's not even about speaking to strangers like that. It's speaking to... It comes and goes. Sometimes it can, I'm absolutely fine. Sometimes I'm absolutely not fine. So it's really, it's something that comes and goes. It's not ever one thing. That's another reason why it never really bothered me as much as it maybe should, just because it's not something that I was able to pinpoint anywhere. So it was never really an issue. I think I've got what I wanted to say off my chest. It's not easy having anxiety, and if you know someone who is suffering from anxiety, speak to them. I've only told this to 2 of my friends. My family doesn't even know. I've never spoken about this to my family. I've only told 2 of my friends. One of them very vaguely, the other one I told her a little bit more. It's hard to tell friends because sometimes you feel like they won't understand, but I think if you have someone who's really close to you, I think it's important to speak to them about how you feel. I find it's quite hard to speak to parents, especially my parents, because I don't think they'll understand it. especially my mum, she'll be like, but you go out all the time, why would you have anxiety about going out when you're always out, type of thing. It's not, as I said, it's not something I can pinpoint, it's not something that I can completely make sense of right now. And as I said, I've not really conquered the invisible monster. I don't have answers to anxiety, I don't have answers to how to feel better about it. But I definitely think that speaking to a friend helps, speaking to someone helps, and pushing your boundaries really helps. And that's something I've actually been doing for the past month a lot of. I've been pushing boundaries, I've been doing things I don't usually do, and I feel like that really helps me. And my friend has noticed this, the one that I told about properly, and she said to me, Habiba, you're really improving, and I'm seeing that, and that's amazing. And yeah, I'm improving, and it helps to push boundaries and it helps to speak to someone, but I don't think I've completely conquered it yet. And this is so weird for me to talk about this on social media, because this is me being absolutely 100% vulnerable on camera, talking about my biggest issue in my life right now. But yeah, I don't know what else to say other than that. As I said, I don't have the answers. I just wanted to create a conversation so we can talk in the comments, so maybe we can do another follow-up video, so this can become something that we could talk about, you know. As I said, in our community, it's not really something people talk about all the time. It's not something people take seriously. So I want us to take this seriously. I want us to talk about this. I want us to help each other by helping one another. So yeah, I asked you guys on Snapchat if you wanted me to answer some of your questions on the topic. So I was gonna open my Snapchat to speak about this. I'm glad I didn't completely break down in this video. I thought I might do, but I think I'm keeping it together pretty well. When was your first anxiety attack or panic attack, and how did you deal with it? When I started to feel anxiety properly, I would say would it be in my teens, and I would start feeling nauseous in random times, like when I'm out and about, when a movie's about to start. Like I just would start feeling that anxiety, the panic started with nausea, and it just came out of nowhere in my teens. And I feel like that's kind of when it really started. The whole feeling sick, feeling cold, clammy hands, that all started when I was in my teens. A lot of you guys are asking me how to deal with it, and honestly, I'm still dealing with this. I'm just like you. Unfortunately, I don't have all the answers yet, but we're on this journey together. We're gonna help each other, inshallah. So those are a few questions of yours that I've answered. I'm going to cut the video short because I do want to continue the conversation in the comments below, and I really appreciate any kind of input. Maybe if you're a doctor or a psychologist or anything and you have some input that may help other people as well, maybe in depression as well, please put your comments below. I'd love to read some things that you've got to say. Thank you to you all for giving me this platform to speak to you about things that mean a lot to me. I'm speaking to you like I would speak to my best friend, and I really appreciate you guys so much, and I love you so much. And thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.